So 50 years ago, we had basic science on one hand and clinical medicine on the other, and we knew that we were going to need to apply basic science to understand the causes of disease, but we really didn't have any of the tools to do that in an effective or regular way. That's changed dramatically. Virtually everyone doing basic science discovery at the highest level, when they discover something entirely novel about how life works, they immediately can think about what the implications are for human biology, normal health, and disease.
Convergence of science and medicine really has to do with sort of bringing, basic science inquiry to really bear on pressing medical problems and needs. I think Rockefeller was actually sort of founded on that principle, more than a century ago.
Well, Rockefeller is perfectly poised to lead the convergence between science and medicine, and for the very simple reason, we have a jumpstart of 100 years of focusing on the importance of the interface between basic science and medicine.
One of the most important things we need in order to tackle a disease is a basic understanding of the disease process, a mechanistic understanding of the disease process. We need to understand what the molecular basis of a disease process is and why it causes that disease to a certain extent in order to develop therapies for it.
Among the things that I find so amazing about working at Rockefeller are the quality of the science, the passion of the scientists, and the fact that everybody shares this incredible drive to learn fundamental new things about how life on this planet works.
I'm an epithelial biologist. From my interests, basic interests in understanding how our tissues make and repair themselves, and at the roots of this are stem cells, I began to embark upon research of how do the stem cells communicate with the immune system. And what we began to realize is that in conditions where an epithelial stem cell is exposed to an inflammation, that the stem cells retain a memory of that. They retain a memory inside their nucleus. Our premise is that if we can understand enough about how these stem cells harbor memory of their inflammatory experiences, that we ought to be able to erase that memory. But if you can understand the process, the basic biology of that process, then you should be able to come up with better therapeutics.
Our laboratory focuses on the biology of cancer metastasis. We're interested in understanding how cancer cells leave a primary tumor and spread to different organs. I'm also trained as an oncologist and continue to see cancer patients. I'm really inspired by my patients and incredibly privileged to be able to focus on the problem that afflicts them.
We recruit really broad-minded, brilliant individuals who are thinking big about not just the details of their incredibly focused science, but what it might mean for the broader world of science and medicine.
If it's interesting to do and if it's worth doing, at Rockefeller, the institution and the people here find a way to make it happen.
Laboratories are not defined by the departmental structure. We can actually move in completely different directions when, scientific opportunities present themselves. And that's something which you see again and again amongst the faculty here, is that they're continuously kind of pushing the envelope and reinventing what they work on.
Late February and early March, as it became clear that the COVID-19 pandemic was upon us and was going to be a major disruptor to human health worldwide, there was no one on the Rockefeller campus who was working on coronavirus, but very quickly, a third of our laboratories pivoted to a diverse array of projects that they started from scratch that had the potential to bear on understanding the biology of the virus and figuring out how that might be applied to the diagnosis, prevention, and treatment of the disease.
When the pandemic hit, Rockefeller was prepared. We had fantastic immunologists who could start to develop neutralizing antibodies to combat the virus. We had great virologists. We had great geneticists who could begin to identify what causes some patients to really suffer greatly from COVID-19 and others not to suffer at all. And so this incubator of great science has served us well and continues to serve us well and will serve the world well for the future.
What's really been wonderful about being here at Rockefeller is just the kind of sense of freedom, the way that I would say the funding structure and the support that we get more broadly as scientists at Rockefeller have allowed us to think really in this sort of very expansive way, to try to enact our best ideas, even if they seem right now a little bit crazy and kind of out of the box.
I think we're going to see just, amazing advances in the next 10 to 20 years in terms of understanding diseases and how to combat them.
If I could pick three words that describe Rockefeller, the first is exceptionalism, the second is inspirational, and the third would be patience, because our focus on human disease and impact.
I would say the three words that best define Rockefeller would be out of the box, fearlessness, and innovation.
Passion, pursuit, and community.
Three words: brilliance, the ability to see things that other people haven't; audacity, the willingness to take on challenges that others might shy away from; and execution, the ability to actually pull off these ambitious plans and reveal things that are new about the world.